Rick Saratella joined by Joe Everett back here on location in Bedford, Texas for the 3rd annual College Gridiron Showcase, the Recap All-Star Show presented by Halo Neuroscience. Check out haloneuro.com. And Joe, offensive standouts here on the first day of practice.
Got a great chance to see some of the one-on-ones, positional drills, the skeleton, the 7-on-7s, and Zach Conkey. Stephen F. Austin, just really arm strength. It's 7, maybe 8-mile-an-hour winds out here. He's driving the ball right through it, so I think he really stood out. And then 2 of the receivers he's throwing at, well, Kendall Sanders called him out before practice. He did nothing but back up our beliefs. He got separation today. He used those big hands and long arms and kept the ball away from the defenders. So I think he just, like I said, backed up our claims. And then Gary Brown, the Cal PA kid, he's next level speed. One thing that stuck out about this practice, he just flies. You can't hear his feet, you just hear the wind. He got separation against everybody, made some big plays, and I think for him, this is a huge showcase. He really took advantage of day one.
A Cal PA product, making a name for himself. Definitely a name you need to know for the upcoming NFL draft. Gary Brown, that is, and you talked about Conke, but the headliner quarterback, I should say, was Bart Houston, and I think he backed that up, looking real sharp, taking the leadership role here, and people looking to him. You mentioned Gary Brown. He was on the receiving end of a couple of those Bart Houston throws. Offensive side for me, I really like Mason Zandy. I think he came in at 6'8", Joe, and he's getting his knee bend on and his hips turned. And the more I watch Mason Zandy, the more I like. But I think this man might have made more money than any player out here. Brandon Kubla from Georgia, the feisty center, one of the shortest linemen here, but one of the biggest and grittiest guys that we saw, and he was really annoying some of these defensive linemen.
But really held his base no matter what the underestimation in size. When you get a handle on this kid, he's going to shock you, he's going to punch you, he's going to kick and slide, and yeah, he really did not look out of place at this event at all.
Brandon Kubla, a lock to make a 53-man roster. You can mark that down for sure. How about on the defensive side of the ball, Joe? Who are your standouts for the All-Star Practice 1 here, presented by Halo Neuroscience?
I'm breaking it out. My favorite player at the event right now is Jamal Wiltz. What he did today, he dominated. He was glued at the receiver's hips. He got a pick. He uses the boundary so well as a friend of his. He just wheels this man right into the sidelines. A couple passes that were just blatantly incomplete because of how well he played his position. Jamal Wiltz just, Iowa State really just stood head and shoulders. I think might be one of the best corners here. And then his roommate, Reed from Baylor, both of them were fired up today, encouraging each other, just rooting each other on. That kind of camaraderie, that shows off to scouts. I think that shows off to talent evaluators. You want somebody like that in your locker room.
Yeah, and also standing out were those SEC helmets. More players represented from the SEC conference than any conference in the College Gridiron Showcase this year, and it showed here today on the defensive side of the ball. And you talked about those one-on-one trench warfare matchups. Corey Vereen from Tennessee showing the speed, the athleticism, the spin move, possibly a 34 outside linebacker, but playing with his hand in the dirt here today. Nick James from Mississippi State, he was grunting, man. He was providing some entertainment with all the noises he was going, but he made quick work of some players there. Chris Taylor out of Tulane, 340 pounds. Nick James said, see you later. Chris Taylor was left, catching some air. And then Adam Butler from Vanderbilt, another intensity guy on that defensive line. So 3 SEC standouts on the defensive line. And then, Joe, I didn't really get to see much of Jared Collins from Arkansas today, but I did want to mention him. We failed to bring up his name in the pregame show. This was another guy. All day long, NFL teams wanted to speak to that young man. So Jared Collins, I think, is a guy that is really drawing a lot of interest from NFL teams. One last tidbit before we go, Joe. We're here in Texas. A lot of people, a lot of media here came out to see how Tyrone Swoops would make that transition to tight end. I know we split up during the practice, and you had a chance to get a quick glimpse at him. What did you see here today?
There was a few early drops, some bobbles, but his footwork's good. The guy's athletic, and with each and every rep, he seemed to get better. The drops seemed to disappear, and more consistent catches. A lot of wheel routes, just single man, the skeleton drill stuff, but still, the ball skills he displayed, the coordination, there's definitely potential at tight end, and I think that's really all the evaluators want to see is not only are you willing to accept that change, but can you move in space? And boy, he clearly showed that, and there's ball skills to boot.
Yeah, and this is the first day. The quarterbacks are working their timing down with some of the patterns, so that's to be expected. Some drops out here. Drew Morgan from Arkansas struggled a little bit with the drops early on, but then picked it up towards the end of practice and made some nice plays. So we'll be keeping you up to date with all the draft risers, who's making some money. That's the phrase of the day. Get your money out here in Bedford, Texas. This has been the Halo Neuroscience post-game recap show. Check out haloneuro.com and log on to cgsallstar.com all week long for the live coverage. Keep it locked, everybody.